Well, just over 14 years ago, Corey Lodge set out on the Malahat Highway on Vancouver Island. He'd just bought a new 1,000cc motorbike. His ride on that March afternoon was his last, as Corey lost control of his bike and crashed. Since then, his mom has been championing motorcycle safety and pushing for a graduated licensing program. She even started a nonprofit safety educators called Corey Safe. And there have been successes. BC has tougher helmet laws now, but people can still get a non-restricted motorcycle license within 30 days of passing their learner's exam. Well, now the District of Kitimat is rejoining her efforts, sending letters to cities and towns across BC asking them to put pressure on the province. Denise Lodge is now with us on the line from her home in Kitimat. Hello there.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, thanks so much for joining us. 14 years ago, how has your life changed since that day in 2011?
Oh my gosh. It's since 2005, you're never going to be that same person that you were before. Your whole dynamics of your entire life changes. You can never bring back that day. Mm-hmm. Never bring back that day.
And why did you decide to go from, to take your grief and try and make these kind of changes?
It was funny, weird. The funny, weird thing. I had no idea that Corey that he had a bike. I had no idea. We had actually watched the accident on the news. We got down to the West Shore RCMP station, and I said to them, how could this have happened? Like how? I mean, he didn't even have a license, And he said, Denise, he said, I don't know. He says, so many people have tried to change the laws that we have, but they never had the staying power. And I remember looking him in the eye that day, and I said, they haven't met me yet. So that's where it started. Mm. That's where it started. It's about giving the new riders the skills so that they can come home safe and have a safe ride.
Yeah. So what do you want the province to see? What do you want the province to do to the license program for motorcycles?
Graduated licensing and mandatory training so that they have the skills to ride safe. Our province. We're lucky if we get 10 months of riding a motorbike. Very lucky if you have that. Most of the province, knowing us going farther north, are lucky if we get 5 or 6 months. So to give it a longer period to be able to practice more and get better skills. I mean, it's the most vulnerable vehicle on the road, and yet there's no skill set to it. And when I say skill set to it, you go into the office in ICBC, you write your knowledge test. You have a piece of paper that says you can ride a motorcycle. From there, envision this. You're in the middle of traffic, and that's where you're learning how to ride it. Change gears, slow maneuvers, all of that kind of stuff. There's no training, as long as you have a supervisor with you. But BC's law, too, is that a supervisor only has to have you in sight. Mm-hmm.
So
insight means that, you can be 100 feet away. They can still see you, but they can't tell you anything.
So you would like to see restrictions on graduated licenses. Can you tell me exactly what you'd like to see? What does that mean?
Actually, no different than what it is for young drivers for vehicles. So what is out there right now they've made a few base models already, the government has, over the 14 years, but they've never implemented any of them. And it's, 0 blood alcohol level. It has shown such success with car drivers, with the new 16-year-olds that come up and they get their L's, they get their N's. They get infractions. They get infractions by breaking any of that. Then, the ICBC can take that away and they have to start from an L again, right? Mm-hmm. The graduated licensing is to make it safer.
Speaking of the licensing, some people who might be listening might say, if you've already have your full Class 5 license already for your car, then maybe you shouldn't need to go through a graduated program all over again for a motorbike. What's your response to that?
My response is that in a car you have airbags and you have a lot of metal around you. And 99.9% of the time you have a loving parent sitting beside you, teaching you the do's and don'ts of how to do that. On a motorcycle, it is not the same. There's a few people that are out there that are parents that are teaching their kids the ropes of how to ride safe. It's a different kettle of fish. You only have what you're wearing and the concrete between you. And the saying out in the motorcycle world, it's not if you lay your bag down, it's when.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sooner or later.
Now
give them this. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Give them the skills that they need to come home safe.
Right. We did reach out to the Justice and Public Safety Ministry asking them if the province will put in a graduated license for motorcycles. And in a statement, the province said, here's what they said. The province does not commit to going that far, but they do say that they're working with ICBC to improve motorcycle safety. What's your reaction when you hear a response like that?
I hate to say it this way, but I've been blowing so much smoke up my ass in the last 14 years. I don't know if I can say that on the radio. I'm so sorry.
No, you just did.
I know. There's been so many different excuses continually. I find I'm getting so frustrated. I had a mother from Surrey phone me whose son died, just young, 21 years old, and she says, what can I do if this was implemented? My son would still be here today. There's another couple in Prince George, same thing. Oh my gosh, that's back in 2009. If this was implemented, my son would be here today. There's so many phone calls I get like that. That keeps me going because you never, ever, ever want to be in our shoes. You don't want anybody to be in our shoes. So you do all that you can to make sure that they have the skills, right?
Mm. Now, in your local community in Kitimat, the politicians, they're sending out letters to cities and towns across the province asking them to put pressure on the province in this matter. What does that mean to have your local Kitimat politicians doing this?
It's absolutely amazing. I am so grateful for our mayor and council. You cannot imagine. We have been going to UBCM since 2013, and they have been taking it every year. I've gone with them, I think, 3 times, and they have taken it on their own the rest of the time. 2016, it was put forward to UBCM, and it was endorsed post-conference by the UBCM Safety Committee, and yet still nothing is out there. We need just to add some more pressure, and so I was very, very grateful that our district did that. Going forward, I'm going to Terrace tonight to give a presentation to Mayor and Council in Terrace tonight upon the request of asking for support.
Denise, thanks so much for joining us. I'm so sorry about the loss of your son.
Thank you, Sarah. You take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's Denise Lodge. We reached her today in Kitimat.